airdrop thing done. Alright. So, for those picking up, we are picking up where we left off with Farming Simulator. The goal here is to finish these last 3 objectives today. I don't remember where I left off. I did play a little off stream just to grind money, so that we didn't spend hours just doing the same processes again and again and again. I have entirely forgotten everything we're working on. Okay, so you're fine. So, I believe April... Right, so the things, to clarify, and I just mentioned this on Twitch, so it's going to be repeating, but, you know, YouTube didn't hear it. The things we're working on today is I need to do 1 full rotation of the cornfield. And you're not stopping until you do? Oh, to finish this? Like, literally, we're going to have these objectives knocked out in no time. Like, that's the reason I left this where it is we're, like, right there. Alright, so that's all fine. I should actually do it this way. Let's pop over here real fast. So we could check... I'm looking at the wrong places. It's been... Okay, so we already got the greenhouses topped off. The pigs have a decent amount of food, and the chickens are good. Alright, so... The last thing I need to check is when do I plant corn? Okay, so we plant corn in April. I got it. And we already broke things today. Yes, we did. Yeah, so the plan here is what I need to do is I will need to take the Nexat and grab the Harrower. Because what I'm going to need to do to satisfy the using all of the objectives is I need to go through a full cycle with the corn, and the catch is, to use all the machines, I need to use the Harrower, because I haven't used it yet. So even though it's not necessary, I can just use the cultivator. We're going to use the Harrower. Just because objectives. I think I need to put the seed hopper on to attach that. I will then plant the corn, which will use the planter, which I haven't used because I've only used the seeder. And then I will need to use the sprayer. And then I'll need to use the harvester with the harvester header for the corn. And once that's done, we have used all of the Nexat pieces of equipment. We do have $1 million, which does involve the use of production lines, which is what we were told was required for that to be satisfactory. So now I just need to figure out which one's the Harrower. Okay, so you are the weeder. Let's drop that. This looks like a Harrower to me. Oh! I also realized something off stream that I haven't been doing this whole time, which is I can hold R. It's not doing anything, so apparently the game's trying to make a liar out of me. I can hold R. And what'll happen is the Nexat will try to line itself up on its own for you. That's not what I wanted. Okay, well... It worked great way test off stream. Okay, yes, this is the Harrower. So this is the first one we need to do. So basically, I'm going to only need to use each of these pieces of equipment once. We're not even going to worry too much about what our yield is. We're not going to worry about optimizing or anything else like that. Okay. Or when you're saying you're not stopping until you do, were you referring to a Schedule 1 getting the warehouse? Because honestly, I feel like we can knock that out pretty quick. I've just been spending money aggressively in the game, building up the production line, and we've hit the cap of what I can do on the building I have. Alright. But yeah, so I just need to harrow this field, so I'm going to get that started. Because while that's going, I'm going to start working on getting the barn all set up. By the way, if I could have someone just clip that we're at over the $1 million. We did use production lines to get more than $1 million. I've spent most of it, and we got a lot of it again by other means. But the point is, we did accomplish the task of the dare drop. Like we had the last time I streamed this, we had completed the objective, but I was gonna wait until I had a chance to collab. But it's just getting too close to the end of the dare drop that I just don't want to risk not getting the dare drop done in time. So we're just proceeding anyways. Yeah, so I can get one person to clip that. Alright. Yeah, I'm just going to hand that over to the AI worker. It's not like we can't afford it. Because this was a sorghum field. And so now what we're going to do is I already have the place for the sheep. We just don't actually have the sheep. That's where we left off in the last stream, is building that. And I need a place for the cows. And I'm actually going to need 2 places for the horses, because we're supposed to get 20 of each animal, and unfortunately the largest pen for the horses, I believe, only handles 10. So we're going to go to construction. And we're going to go down to animals, cows, and we are going right for the big one, because if I'm going to bother, we're going to go all in for it. I didn't wait. Are you telling me I could delete that? Wait. Because it was highlighting that as conflicting, like I might be able to take it away. Because in the past, you haven't been able to do that. But I did underestimate the size of this. I might be able to squeeze it around this way. No, I think it'll be a problem no matter what I do with that. So I'm going to probably have to get one more piece of land, unfortunately. You could probably get a piece of land like that and it'll be fine.
Thank you Sniper Spice for subscribing for 35 months. One more till 3 years.
And thanks Sniper Spice for the tier 1 sub. That's 35 months you've been subbed to channel, so I really do appreciate that. It means a heck of a lot, so thank you. Yeah, no, and you're quickly coming up on those 3 years, so I really do appreciate that continued support. It means a heck of a lot, so thank you. I may have underestimated the cost of some of these things. It's also one of those things that I've wondered if you take... If I take, like, the horse thing here and I make its fields behind there larger... Does that let me have more horses? I don't think it will. Let's see.
Thank you Pretty Pictures for subscribing for 28 months.
Yeah,
it's
so
primetime Rual
Hype
chaos.
train is go. Choo choo.
And thank you for the Prime Gaming sub, Pretty Pictures. I do appreciate that. That is 28 months, and that means a heck of a lot. Actually, when was the last time we had it save? So that didn't do anything. I'm gonna quickly exit out of the save and then back in. And the reason I'm doing this is just so that where I just did that experiment where to see if we got more horses, that was gonna make it so I couldn't put 2 of the horse areas there, and I'd have to buy even more land. And so the experiment was a failure. But that's fine. So we're going to just pop out, pop back in. I muted the game audio for just a minute so you don't get blasted by the music. And we'll get back in there. So we just undid that. because unfortunately the game doesn't feature like an undo button or anything like that. There's no going back on it. So I just wanted to not have wasted that money, because otherwise that would prolong everything. So next at run. Now I don't know when it last saved, but worst case we just grab the Harrower again, we put it back on the field, it's fine. Alright. Yeah, so thank you so much for triggering that hype train and all that. I do appreciate the support and all that. And I'll get the game sound back on here in just a moment. Just trying to avoid any issues with any of that. Because I don't want to knock this out today and not have inefficiencies I end up introducing scuff and make this take longer. Oh right, I can go into debt 500,000. What am I worried about? Because we'll already have the 1 million accomplished, because we did that last stream and they just redid that off stream to have the number filled in for today so that the dare drop would be done and I wouldn't have to backtrack, you know, several ones and try and find the initial clip and yada yada. Alright, any second I'll be loaded. Because, yeah, like I said, it looks like I'm going to have to build 2 horse pastures and 1 cow pasture, and then throw the animals in. The animals are cheap. That part's the easy part. Okay, so get the game sound back on. Alright, so it did cycle slowly back here. I just gotta grab that again. So I apologize about redoing the same thing twice. But unfortunately, one thing I would say that is a negative that Farm Sim has is placing buildings can be kind of dodgy. Like, especially the terrain manipulation side of it, where once it's placed, you can't fix it. And if people want, like, the real-world comparison... Oh, actually, it remembered a little bit, because we did get... It did remember that I had hooked up the truck to there. It didn't remember that I'd done the next at. That's fine. But, like, in real life, you don't just go in there and suddenly, like, the elevation changes and you can't make any adjustments to your plans right at the beginning. Like, you would take the time and you'd have the survey and you'd know what the results look like. And you'd only be in it for probably a couple $1,000 worth of planning, you know, because you haven't bought any of the materials or anything quite yet. But in the video game, you plunk it down and there's just no going back. It is a thing I do wish they would add to the game, that have it so when you build something, you have a certain, like, grace window, if you will. You know, for bad, like, misclicks and stuff they have to deal with, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, you can have, like, all that type of thing sorted. That with stuff like misclicks, you can just be like, hey, undo that construction, bring it back, give me the money back, let me try again. Or if I'm not ready to try it again, like, let me go and undo it, and then do whatever terrain manipulation, adjustment, whatever. You get the idea. So hey Rual, now that you have put some time into Farming Sim 25, do you prefer 25 or 22? 25. Like, 25 is a straight upgrade. It's not like, you know, like, do I like Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3? Well, 1 does these things better, but 3 does those things better, and then 2 is present in the list for some reason. I actually enjoy 2, but, you know, that they're just different games. Very genuinely, Farm Sim 25 takes what Farm Sim 22 is and yes-ands it. Like, there's not a thing I would point at in 25 that I could think of that I'd be like, oh man, that's a step worse. It's like a literal, like, linear upgrade. The only exception I could see is if you're on hardware that running 22 might be pushing your limits, then yeah, 25 is likely to exceed your limits. That would be about the only reason I could see, as far as, like, ignoring money, because everyone's money is valued differently. Like, like why I would, like if you were buying today, why I'd choose 22 or 25. I don't see a compelling argument for going to 22 unless you're dealing with a hardware limitation or you catch 22 for like almost nothing compared to 25. Because obviously, you know, if 22's on sale for like $15 for everything, which I wouldn't count on, and this is 40 or whatever, at the same time where I feel like this is just a straight upgrade, money does matter. Okay, so get you back involved here. Alright, so let's do this again with more, without experimenting and scuffing things. So, we do need to get the horses. It doesn't really change how it works or anything. Yeah, so those all take up roughly the same amount of space. Then we go that one would be too small, I need 3. Alright, so just checking. Where do I drop your food? Let's go put it by the road. Because that's what I'm trying to do. So I have a bad feeling the food drop is inside the building? Yeah, okay. Yes, I'm assuming we food drop inside the building through that barn door. Because this side is to interact with the animals. And you've got like barn doors on that side and one on this side. I'm assuming we have to feed them through that area. So I think ideally we want to turn it this way. Yeah, if we put it over here. Okay, that's your out. Where's your feed? Okay, so you feed directly in the side. All right. So you feed directly in the side. And put your thing right around here. And I need a second one, unfortunately. Because I want us to have 20 horses. And I've not learned my lesson at all about building near roads. Alright. So there's the 2 horse barns and all that. Probably shouldn't be spending too much money on this. That is a weird choice for the game to make, but that's okay. Oh, I've got the wrong thing. Don't chisel it. Smooth it out. Now we want to go to run whatever vehicle over. It's not too terrible. Sadly, it's like got this horrible spot there that I can't change anything about. All right, so same thing over here. I'm going to smooth it out so that when I go drive a vehicle through there, it's not an absolute nightmare. Same here. Alright. So I've got all those barns. Now, the last one I need is the actual, like, cow pasture. The problem I have is I can't afford, like, I don't have space in it. It's too big. It is big. Like, it is really big. If we go here. Well, I can't afford it. Yeah, so it's gargantuan. So, realistically, what I'm going to need to do is buy one of these things. Probably this chunk of land here. Because I might be able to get this Oh no, you're way bigger still. Yeah, I might be able to like squeeze this in here somewhere like that. We'll lose a chunk of the field behind it. But then if I plant grass in what's left of that field, that would give us a grass area. I think that's what we're going to do. That said, I think it's going to be one of those things that we will have to abuse money here for a second. Well, when we have the opportunity. So yeah, so this is the one we're looking at potentially buying. Okay, that's not as bad. I thought it was going to be 250,000. Yeah, so if we buy this... and I go to construction here. We can get this. Man, I saw it say it was okay for a second there. I can also just shove it up here on this edge. And just write off that chunk of the field and call it a day, which is, I think, what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to literally just put it right there. Do you want to customize the fence? No. Do you want to plant a meadow? Yes. Alright, so as you can see, it does... Oh, that is really rough. I need to learn my lesson. I will never learn this lesson, and that needs to not be the way it is. Can I... level that out? Yeah, it's being annoying because it doesn't want me to level it out with that, which is causing all sorts of grief for me. Because that's the refill spot over there. That's fine. We'll make it work. In the meantime, what I need to do is painting, grass. Paint that with grass. As well as this over here, because what we're effectively doing is erasing that part of that field. And does this matter for our purposes? Not even in the slightest. Am I doing it anyways because it's going to bother me otherwise? Absolutely. I believe this should give me enough space to clean that up. All right. So, we've got all that sorted out for now. You're still doing your thing. The next thing I need to do is we will need... I mean, technically I don't even need to feed the animals. I literally just have to do that. So maybe I don't worry about that right now. What I could do is I could just keep the situation what it is right now. You're all good there. Let's go ahead and gas up the tractor. in the meantime. But yeah, because what we can do is once they finish harrowing it, we plant the corn tomorrow. Then we do the fertilizer sprayer tomorrow. Actually, yeah, because we could use the fertilizer sprayer to herbicide, and that counts. Is Schedule 1 done? No, not necessarily. I'm a variety streamer. I do play multiple different games. And we've been doing the dare drafts in Farm Sim, and those are running out of time, so I need to wrap them up. But that should be the first half of the stream. I have said it does seem like in Schedule 1 we might be starting to run towards the edge of the early access content they've got so far. I've noticed we haven't been getting hardly any upgrades in the game for almost like one entire, like, you know, where they have, you know, Street Rat, Hoodlum, all that. For like one entire thing, the only thing we unlocked was just another section of town, which is still something. I don't know where I'm driving right now. There. But it does feel like we're exhausting what's there right now. So I do think we'll probably do one more stream. But like the last one, it was literally taking what we already did and basically just going through the motions, watching the money go up, which is fine. For my content thing, it means it was getting a little on the stale side in a sense. I was just going through the loop and just doing it again and again. But that's early access. That's just the nature of it. Any other games of that genre you would recommend? For just like vague simulation things? I mean, simulation as a genre is huge. Like if you're talking the drug trade kind of games, unfortunately most of the other ones in that genre tend to be low effort, going on the realism side. That, oh, you guys business sim? Oh yeah, there's tons of business sim. Trading card game simulator is really good. It's called like TCG whatever simulator. Can I get a shout out for Kildrix, by the way? Absolutely fantastic creator who's also been playing a decent amount of Schedule 1. Yeah, which I feel like it's just an early access thing that they got you know, early. I know I don't need to. I'm going to. Like, unless you're like, hey man, it actually kind of bothers me the way you shout me out, it's gonna happen. Let me go ahead and get you that. It's those who don't know Kildrix, absolutely fantastic content creator. Plays a lots of similar games that we play here, been doing Schedule 1, did some Valheim recently, also does RimWorld, and a whole lot of other stuff. Oh yeah, no. Like, I am the kind of person, if someone's hopping in here and it really does feel like they're just kind of baiting for the shout out. I mean, if it's a bit over the top, I'm gonna shoot them a message and be like, hey man, like you only show up for your shout out, like that kind of thing. I've never had to do that. But yeah, no, if it was ever something that I'm like, oh, this is not feeling alright. Like, I'm not one to not say anything. Because, you know, the same kind of person might not realize that's the way it comes across and, like, has no optics that is the way it's being experienced and yada yada yada. And so you're just getting upset and salty over something and they don't even realize they're doing something that's upsetting and making you salty. But yeah, now you're good. But yeah, again, so point is, check him out. Also has done like Product Zomboid and RimWorld and a whole lot of other things. A lot of RimWorld over there. Definitely good times. Highly recommend. But yeah, has also been playing Schedule 1. But yeah, no, that's the reason I kind of made the comment with the Schedule 1. Is just the fact that I think it's just a matter of early access. Which runs into a lot of those games. Oh, back to the question about other games. So yeah, so TCG, Card Shop Simulator, whatever you want to call it, it's another one of those ones where you're kind of simulating that. There's like a dime a dozen games who kind of fit that style though now. Which that style I'm referring to being, I'm trying to think of which of these tools are the one I'm looking for. I think it's not that one. I think it's the one, like not the one next to me, but the next one. But like, there's a dime a dozen kind of like the supermarket, card shop, hobby shop, whatever simulator, and most of them are honestly pretty terrible. But the TCG card shop simulator does a pretty good job. It's another one of those ones you're probably gonna get dozens of hours out of, most likely, not hundreds or anything like that. I think that genre in general does tend to lead to that kind of amount of play time, which is fine. I think that's actually fine. But yeah. Yeah, Schedule 1 really, yeah. No, very genuinely with Schedule 1, when you first see it, you're like, oh, it's just another low-effort whatever simulation game. And it has no business being as good as it is. Alright, so this is the right thing. We're not ready to use it quite yet, but I got ourselves all hooked up. So we're doing good here, because we're just trying to finish our dare drops here. So I've got all the buildings I need, and all that. We just got to buy the animals and throw them in there, and I did a terrible job lining this up. It's actually, like, me playing on my own, I would be save scumming to undo that, because that is appalling. But in this one, we're literally going to set up the animals and be like, and move on with our day. So it can be appalling. Alright, so I need to advance to the next day. Gonna double check that, because I don't want to have to go cycle through a whole year. Yep, we plant corn tomorrow in game. There isn't anything else I need to do, right? Yeah, so we plant corn tomorrow. We harvest the barley in June and all that. Which I'm not going to worry too much about. We're focused on an objective. It is what it is. But yeah. So, TCG Card Shop Simulator is a good one. The Supermarket Simulator is a good one. That one also runs into the problem that as you get later and later in the game, the things you can't automate go from being fun to tedious after a while, which is a very common problem with that entire genre. Is the difference between fun and tedious goes real fast. This would actually work instead of the bales. So what I'm doing here is I am cheesing and abusing things because I'm ready to be wrapping this up. So, for those who don't know, and hopefully they didn't fix it since the last time I showed this, there is a bug in Farm Sim 25 right now. In that, when you go to repair something, it tells you need to pay $20,000 to repair it, and you do it, and they just forget to actually charge you. So like, where I have to repair that, that's $4,100, boom. I didn't lose $4,100. I actually do have to borrow money real fast to satisfy this, because even though they're not actually taking the money from your account for whatever reason, they do expect you to have it. So I'm going to borrow that. And this isn't the thing I normally do. We basically have gotten to the point where we're trying to just wrap this up. And so I've been, like, as of just the last one, I've been cheesing it real hard. Also, before we get too far into that, I'm going to go ahead and grab you. I have played Tropico 6, and I played that on stream, I think twice. Both times as well as ones that I only got to play for a little while. It's just not a game that holds people interest very well. That's just, honestly, that's a difficulty with a lot of city builders, tycoon, those styles of games. Even a lot of simulation games, that when they're hot and new and something is going on, people are interested in. But when they're not hot and new, like, the amount of people looking for that content on the platform is unfortunately fairly negligible. It's a bummer. It's just, you know, flavor of the week. And Jay Walker getting their 3-stream streak. Thanks so much for catching the last 3 streams. I do appreciate it. But yeah, no, the Tropico series is a lot of fun. Alright. So we've got the corn to be planted. So I can go ahead and hand this over. Yeah, and the reason I have this dare drop is for this machine I'm using right now. It's this absolute monstrosity of over-engineering. And it's kind of cool it's very impractical. Like, it's super expensive, it's super involved to operate and all that. It's really just not a pragmatic machine. Apparently there's only like 10 of them operating in the real world. But they had a DLC for it, and they just wanted to promote the DLC. So it is one of those things, it doesn't add new crops, it doesn't add, you know, new maps or anything, it just adds that entire line of machinery, which is pretty cool. But the promotion they've been doing is they do dare drops, where those objectives on the left-hand side of the screen, every time I finish one, it takes a couple of days to get through, but they give me a key for the full game to give out to the community with the Nexat DLC, so you get both Farm Sim and the DLC. So I've tried to do that when it's a game I know my community likes. I'll try and do the dare drops. And sometimes they overcommit, which is what happened here is, you know, I picked up a lot. Okay, so this is... Oh, this is just a trailer. That's fine. Which is why we turned to abusing things. Yeah, Tropico 2 with the pirates is a blast. Oh yeah, no, I've enjoyed a lot of the Tropico games. Like, really, really enjoyed them. But like I said, it's one of those things, as a content creator, a lot of those games are really hard to do. There's a lot of games that are amazing and good games that suck to watch. And a lot of city builders do fall into that category. Because there's a lot of city builders that when you play them, there's just a lot of downtime. Like, you'll kind of get things settled, your economy is stable and all that. And now you're just kind of sitting there, letting your research churn or your economy build till you can do the next project. And that's fine for playing on your own. That downtime can actually be a good thing. Like, having a game that doesn't require you to keep constant focus on it is a perk. But at the same time, for people watching on stream, that's quite a bit of a harder sell. Oh wait, that field is... Oh no, that field wasn't planted. I was about to say, it's like, that field is already planted? When am I supposed to sell this? We have all the eggs. When was the egg sell time? Eggs. Not April. That's the answer. So June or November. Okay, so... the answer's not April. That's all we care about. It's very specifically not April. Can I get a relatively inexpensive way of getting grass? Because I could use a foraging wagon and drag that behind. I could also use a baler. The only catch with the baler is that I also need a baler collector or whatever. So if we do the baler, yeah, the moment we go to ones that don't suck, the price skyrockets. Okay, so if we were to get one to make the round bales, which I'd probably want that one, it's 65,000. That's not too bad. And then the transportation, that's not that terrible. We can probably do that without taking out debt. You literally have the same stats. And I don't think we're going to do anything really fancy like up here, because that's for making silage. Yeah, so we can go ahead and get this baler. So that way while you're doing your thing, we're not totally neglecting the animals, just mostly. I'm not aiming to put, like, a proper job in this. I'm literally just going through and cleaning up what we can to have some level. If I go to the same thing, does it recenter it? No. Because the thing's technically considered a windrower. And a windrower, its whole gimmick is it does take whatever loose stuff you have, straw, grass, whatever, and makes it in those big ridges. That way for cleaning it up with something else, whether it's a foraging wagon or a baler or whatever, you know, you don't have to, like, zigzag all over the place to try and pick up everything. Alright. Now I'm going to put a whole lot into getting around these trees, right? I think we're just going to cut this corner. The goal here is to just have a couple of bales of grass. It's good enough. Basically, I have a couple bales of grass just so I can turn around and give that to the animals. It's also something for me to work on while the other thing is good thing. Alright, so we're going to turn on the automatic bale drop. Because then I can show, like, how you're supposed to actually take care of these animals. But you don't have them yet, but we're going to get them. Okay. Oop, I didn't resize it. There we go. We don't need the really small bales. We're going to take the larger ones. Now, what you want to do with this in reality, if you're going to be dealing with the animals like this, probably that field over there on the other side of the cow barn, we'd probably want to plant a grass field, because then we could use the GPS to navigate around and not have to, like, just drive freestyle all over the place. So you could have, like, nice clean lines that you'd cut across and everything. You could also do stuff like add fertilizer and aerate the soil and all that stuff. There's a bunch of things you can do to improve the grass growth. Well, I kind of did that to myself. I did pick up the grass I was trying to pick up. It's fine, it worked out. Yeah, this isn't going to be that many bales. That's a somewhat bigger bale. Now, the one big advantage about using the rectangle bales as opposed to the round bales is the round bales have to stop and drop it off like you saw. The rectangle bales, you literally can just keep driving. It just kicks them out the back as they go and no delay required. Which is one of the reasons why a lot of people like those. I mostly like the round ones, not even because of the round bales, but just because of the bale loader for them. Where it just has like the little hook next to the side that you just grab them on the drive-by. I find it to be much nicer than the rectangle bale loaders, which are still good too. I think that's all the grass. And you just finished what you were doing, so that's good. because that should be this whole field planted. So now, the next step I'm required to do is I need to use the sprayer. So we've already finished half of the tasks I need to do with the Nexat. We're only about 1 hour into the stream. I need to operate the sprayer real fast. We'll just put down some herbicide and then probably follow that up with a go of the fertilizer potentially. I'm not too worried about the fertilizer one or the other, because we're not actually super worried about how good the yield's going to be, because we are just trying to accomplish tasks. But if I put down the herbicide, that'll satisfy that we have used that equipment. And then after we've done that, the only thing left to do will be to harvest it. Okay. But yeah, so in a lot of ways when you're looking at the Nexat, it does basically replace both your harvester and your tractor. It kind of can do everything. It's just the downside is it's extremely cost prohibitive and also can be a little bit of a pain to work with just because of this whole like work mode, travel mode. The thing is like 40 meters wide or whatever it is, or long, depending on which dimension you're looking at. So it can be like very impractical, whereas like just if you're playing the game to try and make the best choices, I think the better choice is you just buy a large tractor. You'll save money in the long run. It's easier to work with. Let me go to the other side. It's easier to work with. There are a few things the Nexat does just better than what we have. Like, for example, the Nexat can cultivate and slurry at the same time, which is something a tractor can't do. At least not that I'm aware of. It also does have the benefit that it's technically got the fastest cultivator. That it's not the largest, there's one larger, but the larger one goes at half speed. Yeah, so this is like a perfect example. Like, I'm using the auto lineup and that's not working. But you get the idea is, unless it's like perfectly level. Yeah, could you please get that out of the way? Can be a little dodgy. Oh, nope, don't do that. Switch to travel mode again, because I need to get herbicide for it. So it does have pros and cons, but I think purely pragmatic, because this equipment behind me, that represents $2 to $3 million. Like just the Nexat is like $2 to $3 million. And by that point, you can literally have the best tractor in the game, the best harvester in the game, and maybe not all the attachments you'd want, but just about. And then the tractor can also do a lot of things that the Nexat can't, because the Nexat is kind of restricted doing just the basic crops. Whereas, you know, a big tractor could be used for the root crops, could be used to run the plow, could be used for a whole bunch of other things that this one can't do. Alright, so let's pull over here. Because now I need to go here and say, hey, consumables. Oh, it's the consumables for there. Pallet tanks. Herbicide. I don't know how many we need. I'm gonna buy 4. I assume this thing has a completely unreasonable capacity, because it's had with everything else unreasonable capacities. Like the harvester, that's one of the big advantages, the harvester attachment on this, is it's literally like 1.5 times plus some the next largest harvester in the game's capacity. So it is just one of those things that very, very genuinely, it can do some of the jobs a little bit more efficient. But the big takeaway, the big negative, is only if the circumstances are really, really ideal. Like very, very flat terrain, lots of room to work around the outer edges, all that kind of stuff. Which I think takes away a lot of the pragmatism of the vehicle. Like, if you had a map that's the equivalent of, like, middle of nowhere Texas farm, where just huge areas of completely flat land, or, like, the California Valley and all that, again, huge areas of just flat land, I think it would make more sense. Alright, so I have no idea how wide this thing is going to get, but I'm assuming obnoxiously wide. 56 meters is how wide it's gonna get. Is that the largest in the game? Because I haven't used this piece of equipment yet, so let's check what the actual other sprayers are, just to give us something to compare to see how strong this is. I think that very well might be the largest in the game. Sprayers. So you get up to 54 meters. It wins by just 2 meters. That's almost big enough to do the field in one pass. Almost. Not quite, but right there. Why are you not showing me my lines? Oh, because it wants to do a hedgerow, and the hedgerow's like bigger than the field. I got you. So we're just gonna eyeball this one. That's such a weird vehicle. And I know I can narrow its profile here. To make this work better, but I don't think the AI could handle this. Or if it does, it's probably gonna do something like weird, like fold it up, drive over here, back into position, unfold it, drive like 2 inches. Repeat. Such a reasonably large vehicle. Oh, caught on the tiny little tree on the right. Yeah, but you could sit there and narrow it to make it way more efficient. You'd want to do that, especially with how broad this thing is. But man, unless you're talking an absolutely huge field, this is not a reasonable machine for doing this particular task. Like, the cultivating and all that's fine, but the spraying... This is pretty unwieldy. Alright, and that takes care of the sprayer. That means I've used that piece of equipment. I'm just going to ignore the fact that that arm went right through that telephone pole. Nothing to see here. Okay, and with that's done, all I've got left to do in the next, like, bit of things to accomplish is I need to harvest that field when it's all grown. And once they've harvested that field, that will be all the Nexat equipment used. And we've already done the $1 million in production. I'll have to clip it after stream. I see no one snagged the clip for me, which is fine. And then we'll just need to buy the animals. And then that'll be done. Because I've like wanted to get this knocked off my agenda. I ground out the things to make sure I could knock it out in one quick, like, short half stream here. And then we can do whatever's next. So I'm not even going to worry about getting the next thing. I honestly might literally just ignore the barley. I know that's not something I should do because it's just a waste of materials. But I'm not saying this is a run I want to do forever. It's not a challenge run, which is what I usually go for. It's just do the dare drops. So I think I'm going to focus on just get the dare drops done. We've already gotten to the point that I cheesed a bunch of the money as of last stream. So I just gotta grab the harvester and the header for the corn over there, and yeah, I think we're literally gonna skip the skip dealing with the barley this year. Just gonna let it rot. Well, you know what I might do? I won't let it rot. I lied. In case I change my mind later, I turned off seasonal growth, so it should stay there forever and not rot. I believe that's how it works. That way I don't just, like, scuff the run or something like that. I don't think, like, I think we will get this. I'm much more interested in continuing doing, like, the Survivor Man kind of stuff if we go back to do more of that. Because to me, that's a far more interesting thing for me. I know it means much slower progress, but... So I need to get you out of the way. You're not the one I need. But you are all up in my way. But yeah, because, like, the Survivor Man challenges on hard economy, it's like... It's one of those things that I go back and forth on. On one hand, the big problem you have with those Survivor Man challenges is while it's more interesting content-wise of seeing someone overcome the challenge, it also means people be like, oh, you're still just working on that same little farm? It's like, yeah, my economy sucks. Like, everything is awful. The gas is more expensive. You know, it literally slows down progression. It's actually one parts I like about it. I like feeling like you gotta fight to make my every step along the way, not just like farm sim. If you're willing to abuse stuff, is a very easy game. Like, you literally get your first couple $1,000, you tossed out a power plant. Congratulations, infinite money. You just got to be willing to don't do that. Willing to fast forward. All right, so we've got you all set up. I'm not going to worry about grabbing the bales yet. Okay. So basically, to satisfy this, when do I harvest the corn? Yeah, that makes it so I can't see it. Because the corn still takes the same amount of time to grow. The corn should be ready in October. Alright. But see, that's the thing you didn't get about the appeal. You tried it and just kind of had a bunch of money. You could mostly do what you wanted without much friction. Yeah, so that's the reasons why, like, to learn the game, obviously play on whatever difficulty, and obviously do what's fun for you. For me, personally, to get the most of the enjoyment out of the game, is I set it on its hardest economy settings. And then usually I'll also go through and I'll do, like, what they call the Survivor Man Challenge, which is you start on a map that's got basically nothing on it, except for, like, your sell point or whatever for it to physically function. And you give yourself the bare minimum to be able to make any money at all. Because it is a game that if you don't own any land and have no money and you can't take a loan, you've put yourself in a situation where you physically cannot progress. You know what? May, June. But yeah, so I like doing that one. It is one of those ones that it's very slow doing it that way, where you fight tooth and claw and you're like, I have a greenhouse now. One greenhouse. It's amazing. And then, you know, you get your second greenhouse, then maybe you get like a tiny little field with terrible equipment. Yeah, to warn you, it is a very, very slow thing. Like, you're going to be putting in a lot of streams if you go to do that. As a heads up. So some people really enjoy that play style. Some people really, really don't. There's a number of games, like, it's like doing 16 times pop on Product Zomboid. That I've known a number of people are like, oh, that sounds great. Let me check out 16 times pop on Product Zomboid. And I'll hear back a week later, that was terrible. Why would you ever do that to yourself? Like, look, man, I like things where you have to fight tooth and claw for every inch. But yeah, no, that's the whole thing. You kind of got to set yourself a handful of rules to make it so you don't just like get easy progression. Yeah, it's better things meaningful. Right. For me, that's most of the enjoyment I get out of games. I either want a really good story, or in the absence of a really good story, I want to like see the progress happen. That's the reasons why I really liked I did one run on Farm Sim that the money wasn't the issue. I chose a map that it's called Silver Run, that the whole idea behind the map is that it's this big forest and there's not much farmland. So you sit there and you cut down the trees and you remove the stumps and you get yourself a little bit of farmland. And I must have done like 10, 12 streams of that. Man, probably more than that. I did a lot of streams of that. And he really objectively looked at it and goes, what did I have? I had like 2 fields I was operating. Like I had money for days. Money was not a problem. Money was just no objective because lumber is really good. But, you know, I had to like carve away at the forest. There's that feeling of progress there. That's also my understanding a big part of the draw to like Medieval Dynasty and those where, again, you've got to build your places log by log by log. Okay, I think October was when I would harvest this. But yeah, so you can see, normally I have seasons on. With seasons off, this has been ready to harvest for like months, but you can just ignore it. It's fine. It won't, like, I don't believe it will ever rot. If you ever go to set up a multiplayer server, generally speaking, you'll probably want to turn off seasons. Otherwise, it's one of those things that one person can get stuck doing the part they enjoy less about the farming and never get to do the part they enjoy more because they plant it and it just doesn't go that way. Or you have the whole thing where someone is just caring for their own fields, and so your fields, every time you log on, have rotted because someone else is playing while you were offline. But yeah. That's actually one of the reasons why I put Son Goku Dynasty and all those. Let's see, Vintage Story with seasons is crazy. Log off in April after planting and log in 2 days later and it's November. Oh, like running a server? I still have not played Vintage Story. I've heard good things and I've seen other people play it. Like it's like Minecraft with depth is the way it looks. All right. It's so good you really enjoyed it? Yeah, like I said, I've heard nothing but good things. I just haven't done it myself.
Hello there.
Make sure, yeah, I'm gonna hand you over to the AI. All right, and if I can get someone to clip this, this is the very last piece of equipment we had left to do with the Nexat. So officially, as of harvesting this field, we have used every single one of the 12 pieces of equipment of the Nexat, one by one by one. So even though like I harrowed this field, I didn't have any need to harrow it, I could have just cultivated it. We did need to satisfy the objective. But if I can get one person to clip just, like, it doesn't need to be anything, just that this thing's running. That'll satisfy one of our objectives, so we'll get that off here. And actually, while it's sitting there and weirdly it gets silent, we're going to go to the objectives text, because that's done. And then that's done. Because we had $1 million at the beginning of stream. Let's see, you don't know about Vintage Story, but Minecraft has endless pit of depth. So it does when you go and start doing like mods and doing like logic circuits on what you can do with the redstone. Like you can go super in there, but if you ignore doing like redstone programming and all that kind of stuff, it does have like the Lego where you can create anything. But as far as the depth goes, you got a handful of materials, you have a handful of tools to get, and like, and for me, I haven't played Minecraft really since the Ender Dragon was introduced, so it's been a very long time. It's one of those games I just went hard at to the point I burned out, which I have a tendency to do. But yeah, so it's not like me belittling Minecraft in any way. But the difference between it and Vintage Story is Vintage Story, like, you've got all sorts of, like, different styles of crafting. I believe there's leveling mechanics in it and everything. Like, there is a lot in there. It's not just you chunk some ore into a furnace and you get a bar, and then you put in a crafting table and by magic you've got it. And I know they added, like, enchanting and all that to Minecraft as well. But my understanding is Vintage Story has way more layers to it. But anyways, so that's good there. Meanwhile, what I'm going to go ahead and do is, it's not the right month for me to sell this stuff, but it's close enough. I'm going to go ahead and sell all of our eggs and honey. And then I got to get... Why did you do that again? That's... We had that same Oh, you know what I think it is? I think it's the angle that hill's on where I built the chicken coop. I think the eggs are shifting just enough forward that they're not considered on it for the autoloader. Which, again, is me not taking the time. I think from now on, when I do, like, Survivor Man challenges or, like, long runs and I go to place those buildings, I think I am literally in advance going to level out, like, an entire area. And then do it. Like, then build and, like... just give myself some rule that I have to keep, like, this really big, like, 10-foot border between it and the edge of what I own. Just because I've run into so many, like, little headaches because of it. That is one place I could see Farm Sim really making an improvement, would just be the, one, when you go to place a building, like, let us just undo the placement and try again. Like, not years later in game, but just, like, right there in that moment. Just try again kind of thing. Alright, so that's $84,000 worth of eggs and honey. So if anyone's wondering if I actually did $1 million in production lines, I mean, that's almost 10% of $1 million in one sale. It's fine. Okay, and I sold that real fast so I wouldn't even have to think about the money. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go buy. And we're going to go to animal dealer. So I need cows. So we got those cows, these cows. I mean, water buffalo are the new ones. They're worth way less than the other cows for reasons I don't know. Oh. Angus. Okay, so it's... These two are milk cows, those two are beef, and then the water buffalo. I'm just going to do these ones, because what we're going to do here is we're going to say, I would like 20. Okay, we have now satisfied the cow's objective. We already have pigs. We have sheeps and goat. I think we're gonna go with this one. So same deal, I'm gonna get 20. So that satisfies that. And then we got our horses. Sure, good enough for me. So this one we're gonna have to split up between because I have 2 horse areas. So there's 10 for that one. And 10 for that one. So now if we check, I have the chickens, I've got 360. The cows, I've got 20. The pigs, I've got well over 20, 280 pigs. I've got 20 sheep, and I've got 10 horses in each of these, so 20 horses. So that is all of the animals. So if someone could do me a solid and clip that, that would be nice. Because that would satisfy that objective. Because what I'm going to do now is all the objectives are done. That is literally all the objectives we needed to do. So now we have accomplished all of the dare drops. And so I think we're not going to stick to farm sim very long. My big thing is I wanted to knock those out because we've been sitting on those for like a week and a half. And I just want to get those down because basically that's going to be, I think, 4 keys to Farm Sim 25 and the next DLC that I'll be able to give out to the community in the future. I won't have them today. I gotta take all those clips and I gotta send them in. But the AI with the next set is not always the greatest. Yeah, no, I have had fun messing with the Nexat. Do I think I would use it in a normal run? I wouldn't say no, but it wouldn't be where I'd start. I think realistically what I would probably do is, like, when we're doing, like, a Survivor, man, and we're getting, like, into the late game, I've already got my large tractor and harvester, and now, like, I can kind of just spend my money on whatever the heck I feel like, because, you know, we've kind of won the run. I could see this being the thing you buy as the, you know, I've finished, is you blow your money on this incredibly expensive and impractical piece of equipment. As just like, okay, I got the big expensive thing. All right, AI, you're fired. Just do the thing right in front of you, man. It's right there. Need to start charging by the project, not by the hour. Oh wait, I need you. Because I'll go and grab the corn anyways. But yeah, so like I was saying, I got this all squared away where I was ready to knock it out in no time. We're just over an hour and a half in. If we don't count like the 10-15 minutes to start stream, about an hour and a half. We finished all the objectives. And yeah, they're not in a sustainable way. Like, I would need to buy more land to have enough, well actually either buy more land to have enough feed or just buy the feed for the cows and all that. This is pretty annoying. This is one of the reasons I'm not too committed to this run, is because we're focused on these objectives. I got a bunch of these buildings aren't placed well, and it is causing me grief. All right. I'm finding it interesting that that's not moving as easily as the last couple times, because we've had this problem the whole run, but usually I can just knock it back once or twice, and it's just enough to shift it to slip this under. Okay. Because I just want to grab the corn, even if I never come back to this run. Like, I don't know. Maybe we will, like... Maybe they'll have, like, another DLC with some more dare drops, where we're just like, oh yeah, let's pick up where we left off in the last one. I could see that being a thing. Or we just, like... Sometimes, like, Farm Sim's one of those games that if I don't know what I'm doing for, like, the rest of the stream, like, we finish a game I had planned for it to take the whole stream, and then we rolled credits and kind of scratch our head and go, oh, you know, I didn't have a plan for the rest of it. But it's kind of too early for me to want to wrap stream, but, you know, not late enough for me to start, like, a brand new RimWorld run. Farm Sim has always been one of those games I'm like, yeah, I can just break that out. We just spend a couple in-game days, get it knocked out. That's fine. All right. And so we got our corn. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do here is we are going to start a poll on what we're going to do after this. Because I figured it's like, I could just drag this out. But you know what? Let's just go ahead and get the next thing going. So what are we doing now? So I will put Schedule 1 on there. In case people want to see a little bit more of that. That'll be continuing our existing run. Do we have any other things on our poll going that have, like, really stood out? So... yeah, I'll do it. We'll put Medieval Dynasty on there. Because that's one that's got a number of people voted for, and I have that. I'll put Big Ambitions on there. So that's got a decent number of votes. And I know that that poll is up there, just got added, so... I haven't had a chance to really... Like, a lot of the games I'm not putting on here is because I don't have it ready. Alright, so we've got those. It's a shame the Pacific Drive doesn't have its update today, that it comes out tomorrow. It's also RimWorld, but I don't really want to start another run of RimWorld, because that's kind of thing, is you start the run and you are committing a decent amount of time. We'll put SnowRunner on there as kind of a one-off, just continue the existing hardcore run. Well, hard run. It's not hardcore, like you don't die and that's it. It's just the economy is really nasty. And one more for the list. Looking for something that's not a huge time commitment unless it's on that poll. But the issue is mostly our ones like Aska's doing extremely well, but I don't own it yet. And so I want more time in the poll before I jump on it. I was gonna say I'll put Pacific Drive in there, but it's like, no, because it might be one of those ones I literally want to start that over again tomorrow. Like, I gotta see with the DLC how that even goes. I am blanking out what to do with the last one, and chat's typing. The problem is my screen is covering it. Alright, let's see. I'm trying to think of a good one for, like, just a one-off that we could hop in and it won't be a big deal if we just don't come back to it again for, like, weeks or if at all. But I'm not really seeing much I want to do that with. Could just go with the 4. Yeah, we have Medieval Dynasty. I already grabbed that. I don't own my Summer Car or Aska yet, but if those stay that high, I'll pick it up. I don't own Sengoku Dynasty yet. I don't own Spilled yet. We already put Big Ambitions on there. I don't own Bellwright yet. Always the hardest part, chat. Always the hardest part. If you want to know what the hardest part of content creation, it's figuring out what the heck you're playing. Because I don't I don't want to do a random one-off stream because I think both my saves in Project Zomboid right now are kind of scuffed because of the update, so I'm just not motivated to mess with it. We finished our RimWorld run, so I don't want to jump into that knowing I'm committing to a RimWorld run, and that is something I'm trying to not do too terribly much of. Like, I love RimWorld, but I need to do more than just RimWorld. Stone Shard, I'll have at times people be like, oh man, we really want to see you play it, and I'll have times that like people are like, oh yeah, no, it's alright. And it really is like very, very flip-flop in what the general response I seem to get out of people for that one. So that's one of those ones I've always been very leery about, because on one hand, people seem hyped about it, and on the other hand, people seem very not hyped about it. I'll put Cities as the last one. Why not? Cities, Skylines 2. That's what I'll do. So get that poll going. Last PZ update broke saves. Yeah, no, I'm aware. And I was even having like really bad performance issues the update before that, which could be because my existing saves got affected or who knows what. But even when I took saves that didn't have a high pop, if it was a existing save, it still was really slideshowy when it like at different times. I was like, all right, this isn't fun to play. Yeah, so the poll's up, so go ahead and refresh your browser if you don't see it. The polls are for Schedule 1, Medieval Dynasty, Big Ambition, SnowRunner, and City Skylines 2. Schedule 1's a game we've been playing the last couple of days. It's the whole big thing that's like the big hype right now on the platform, that you do like the drug trade. We are into the point of late game, kind of in the automation side of things. So honestly, it's mostly me picking up supplies and then dropping stuff off the dealers. And that's basically what we do now. There's no, like, I literally don't even think there's new equipment coming into the game for us from where we're at. Like, I think we get, like, one more category of products. But as far as, like, there's not a Mixer 3, there's not a, you know, Packager 3. Like, there's literally that we've got. So as far as fresh content goes, I do think we are going to be mostly just seeing the same that we've been seeing. Medieval Dynasty would be a brand new run. That's medieval city builder kind of thing. Big Ambitions is like serial entrepreneur style game we've done a couple times on the channel. Basically, you start in Manhattan and just keep opening business after business after business and growing your business empire. It's kind of fun. It's one of those games that I feel like just really, really kind of fell through the radar. That like people showed interest in it early on. It has been quietly updating again and again, but with no new fanfare. Something I feel happens to a lot of early access games. They have a good start, and then that's it. They never can catch the attention of people anymore. Would you just... This is another thing I would want to fix for actual save. So SnowRunner. That is lovingly or not so lovingly known as Truck is Stuck to a lot of people, where you do deliveries in absolutely terrible road conditions. Oh my god. Yeah, so this is, and I'm sure there's probably mods where you can just like scooch the buildings over. But yeah, this is always one of the ones that's been a pain in this game, is you can't see what the actual outcome of your building placement's going to be until you hit the go button. And I always make the mistake of putting it too close to the roads because I want the points to be close to the road just for convenience. And then we get weird terrain issues. Oh, I'm out of stuff. That's why I can't do it. That's just me being dumb. Yeah, and then City Skylines is a city builder. It had a really rough launch, but it's come a long way since then, and we haven't revisited to see how that is. Yeah, so not trying to do a bait and switch to, like, start with Farm Sim and then immediately jump to something else. It was mostly I wanted to get this done because it's been left undone, and I've only got about 7 or 8 days left until the dare drops end. So I wanted to make sure it got knocked out before then. Alright, it's looking like it's very, very heavily going to Schedule 1. Which isn't super surprising. That's like the flavor of the week on Twitch. I do feel like that's going to be one of those games that's going to be hot for like a couple weeks on Twitch, and then it's going to completely fall off the radar. Kind of like TCG Simulator has done, and Supermarket Simulator has done, and Fast Food Restaurant Simulator has done, and all the others. And that's just because, especially with early access games, they come in kind of two flavors. One is they will be mostly content complete, but zero polish. So usually a buggy mess. Or more often than not, they'll be a little bit better on the polish side, but as far as the content goes, you can knock it out really fast that it's like it's only got a little bit of its content. That's fine. I'm sure I can have a really good time with like one more stream and that, maybe two, depending. Like there's one more product I haven't unlocked, and so it depends on what's there, on if it's gonna be like cool, like this is a lot of fun and interesting and engaging to stay in this, or we get to that product and go, oh, okay, well I guess I've seen this. But it'd be good to go through that. It's definitely going to Schedule 1, though. Cool. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and save and get everything flipped over. If you're watching on the YouTube side, the stream will be dropping for a couple of minutes. And then pick it up. Let's yeah, Burnout. Yeah, no, it's a whole thing. It's a very normal problem with a lot of those games. And this isn't me talking about like that genre or whatever. It's just, generally speaking, a lot of those games early on. Oh, I should have... Yeah, this is